So in May last year, India and Pakistan fought what analysts are calling their first non-contact war. Pakistan fielded 300 to 400 Turkish-supplied drones along the border. India's own integrated air defense neutralized hundreds of them. Now that very conflict, Operation Sindoor, became the moment India's defense establishment stopped treating drones as a future capability and started treating them as a battlefield necessity as of today. The Army has since trained over 50,000 personnel across 19 dedicated centers, aiming for every soldier to be a drone operator by 2027. Mr. Pawan Khatri, who is the CEO and founder of DroneVerse Aviation, which started in 2022, is joining me today exclusively for a front page conversation. By the way, DroneVerse Aviation started as a certified drone training organization before expanding into manufacturing and counter-UAS systems. Welcome to Front Page. How are you doing, Pawan? Pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for having me. And good morning, everyone.
I'm so sorry. I've lost your audio for a yeah. Now you're back. Wonderful. Now you're there.
Yeah.
So again,
thank you.
Pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Fair enough. So Pawan, let's start with setting probably the context and trying to understand what was the motivation, etc., behind DroneVerse Aviation and yourself as well. So I'd like to, of course, start with the fact that it was founded in 2022, as I just mentioned, and it started as a certified drone training organization. Then you started to expand. So what does DroneVerse actually do today? And honestly, where did the motivation come from as far as you're concerned?
So, just a quick introduction on what we do. So we started as a training organization. When in 22, we saw this opportunity where we feel that the drone's going to be the future, and there'll be a lot of opportunities in terms of civilian applications, in terms of military application, and we giving our population and the new technology. We started as a training organization where we had an aim that we will need, and Prime Minister Modi, he has a aim of training more than 1 lakh drone pilots for agriculture. Sure. That was a time when we started this organization with a government authorized DGCA certification course, where we used to train them on agriculture. We were training them on assembly, repair, maintenance of drones, and then currently we have more than 10 centers across India. These centers are equipped with training equipments, instructors, assembling. We teach assembling of drones, repair and maintenance, how to do survey, how to do FPV flying. So there are different programs from basic to intermediary to tactical battlefield programs.
Fair enough. So initially, the way I probably understand it is, Pawan, as far as DroneVerse was concerned, it was not specifically for the armed forces. It was more towards leaning towards the agricultural sector. Am I right?
That's right. We in 22, the market was more towards agriculture, survey, and training part, and eventually we got a lot of queries from Indian Army, from paramilitary forces, that and there was a lot of push from the government to include drone in whatever they are doing. So we started getting queries, we started interacting with them, and then eventually got into a tactical training as well.
Wonderful. So then, Pawan, I mean, of course, Operation Sindoor, although absolutely unfortunate skirmish that took place, but did you feel that it kind of brought to everyone's attention in terms of the technology which was now future and, forward looking? Because generally speaking, do you feel that we tend to kind of go ahead and adopt to technology in more a reactive way, instead of it being, for example, something where we are planning way ahead of time? That's something which is my personal observation. I'd like you to shed light on that. One.
No, yeah.
Sorry. And two, of course, according to you, a conflict like this, what did it kind of bring to the fore, which kind of changed the way we envisaged everything, we changed the way we saw everything?
See, world is moving very fast, and uh, you are absolutely right. We are more of a reactive approach than a proactive.
Correct.
Everyone knew that there is a battle going on between Ukraine and Russia. Around the world, the use of drones. There are our adversaries, especially if you see, China, Turkey. They are good in, they
Sure.
picked up this technology way ahead of time, and currently they have a good industrial base, and we are more on a reactive side than proactive. However, now there is a lot of push from the government side to indigenize, to have those systems. We have a really good systems now. Let's say, if after, and then training. So the
Correct.
focus on training was much required. We have a large population, a lot of people can be, and there is a lot of interest from youth on technologies like drone and counter drones and robotics. So we have a lot of talent, and it just needs to be streamlined, and which is happening right now post Operation Sindoor. I would say this was a day one for latest technologies, and for drones for military use.
But according to you, there is definitely a shift in the mindset. Are we starting to become, from a policy point of view again, Pawan, are we starting to become a lot more, let's say, forward-looking in our, policy changes, etc., and probably the way we would like to implement them, learning from, let's say, Operation Sindoor?
Absolutely. So there is a definite change in the mindset from unit level to a command to the headquarters. There is a lot of push. All military people, all paramilitary people, they are implementing this technology very fast. They are very eager to learn this, use it, make it themselves. So now we are also having few joint ventures and
Nice.
MOU signed with the army, where they are saying that we want to build all within us. We have a capacity, we have a space, we have people.
Sure.
So can we have those kind of setups with us? So we are supporting there as well.
Pawan, tell me this. I mean, it started off as, the company, DroneVerse, started off as a certified training company. And then there was, of course, a leap of faith that you took along with your team, where you went into manufacturing, and then you went into UAS systems, etc. But it's not an easy journey, let's be honest. I mean, it's a whole new technology. You're dealing with a lot of, pioneers in the market globally, etc. So probably walk us through that. What kind of got you thinking? Was it obviously the opportunity? One. Two, was it the cost aspect? I mean, these are just few things that come to my mind.
So earlier, most of the technology or majority part was imported.
Sure.
And when we were training, we got this feeling that, there has to be a technology development within house. You can't be dependent on any country for any critical, because they are fighting their own problems.
Agreed.
There is a demand, and those supply chains can be disrupted anytime. So that's when we got technical people from industry, from good colleges. So we have people from BITS Pilani, we have IIT
Wonderful.
graduates, we have people who have experience of 8 years in big companies doing RF, avionics, those kind of technology. We got that team together. We spend a lot of money on R&D. We got our systems validated in front line with army units. So
Nice.
that's where we got a lot of support from, I would say, industry, because no matter how good is your system, till the time it is not validated by the end
Correct.
user,
Correct.
or it is used. So no matter how good you make it at home, and just keep saying that you have the best
Correct.
one.
I agree.
So we did a lot of trials. I mean, it took us more than, I would say, 80 trials for overall. We did a trials at Leh, which is the highest altitude
Yes.
currently in the world for flying drones. It is 18,000 feet. We did in Tawang, which is different terrain. Rajasthan, Mahajan Field firing ranges. So these are pan India, different users. Earlier, people had this perception that one drone will solve the problem. A drone in Delhi will fly everywhere. So now this mindset has been changing, where army has, and the defense forces have also realized that there are limitations and there are different products needed in different environment.
Walk us through that. I was actually going to follow up by asking you that what makes it so different to go ahead and test it at 18,000 feet at Leh, for example, vis-a-vis, let's say, a desert area, vis-a-vis, let's say, a different mountainous terrain, etc., or sea level perspectives.
Okay, so most important lesson learned is after the Operation Sindoor is that you need to have a EW capabilities in any drone. So the drones which were there didn't have too many of EW capabilities earlier, which is the electronic warfare capabilities, and now the shift is totally towards having the equipments which can fly in a GPS and denied environment.
Right.
They can fly in a jamming environment, and based on that learning, we quickly adapted with our team, and we got the best technologies. Partnered with few companies with 100% technology transfer, and then indigenize those systems in India. And currently, we're delivering those systems to Indian Army.
What, according to you, was the biggest challenge, Pawan, which you kind of faced or DroneVerse faced, and finally, by the end of it, when you solved it, it was probably one of those eureka moments or that huge breakthrough moment, which sets you apart from, let's say, the rest of the crowd?
So, the EW environment. So that is a very tough thing to do. There is a lot of technology involved in frequency hopping, anti-jamming capabilities, and we did a lot of trial with us, and then a lot of trials in different environment with the end user, and that is, you can say, sets us apart. And then what sets us apart is we have supply chain which is solved. So we still are dependent on at least 10% of the critical components which we need to import, just like camera and few other things. Solving that challenge sets us apart. Getting good feedback reports, that's a different. We have
that's a big one, to be honest. Supply chain is a big one. I mean, 90% if you've been able to localize and indigenize, and you're only dependent, and I'm pretty sure you're working very hard to also go ahead and convert that 10% into a local method, because yeah, that's a big one. The reason I asked you this is, Pawan, because of this. Let me give you a few numbers. This is a crowded space. This is not like a niche space that you're going ahead and occupying. IdeaForge, for example, publicly listed, has confirmed contracts worth 30 crores and 75 crore rupees respectively across all three services. Now, DroneVerse Rudra drones have been demonstrated and field tested, as you just mentioned, 18,000 feet. Now, I want to understand from you, where does DroneVerse actually stand against, let's say, a competitor with confirmed at-scale defense contracts already in hand? Does that, in some way or the other, make it tough?
Not really, because everyone is, in different products. So there is,
fair enough.
Ours is a low-cost FPV kamikaze drones, which are used in mass and used for kamikaze purpose. They do mostly on surveillance side. Due respect, it's a huge company, lot of effort. We did 280 army orders in last 1.5 years.
Congratulations, sir.
So we have a turnover of 28 CR last year, and this year we are also expecting large orders for our systems. So every company, good company right now, having good products can get orders. But if you are just assembling drones and you're getting your supply chains are not sorted, then you will get stuck. A lot of people, if you see, this is a crowded space because anyone can go to internet and make drones, but
Correct.
there is, yeah, so that doesn't solve the problem. So you need to have a sustainable supply chain. You need to have a lot of R&D testing. There is to sell any equipment to Indian Army. There is a long list of testing which needs to go, because these products going to be used by our forces, and we can't give them any substandard products. So we have sold more than 1,000 drones till now. And this year we are planning to sell even bigger, 10,000 units for
Well
FPVs.
done.
So that is our aim and goal for this year.
Now, I think you've touched upon something which is very, very important, as you mentioned, that one, the opportunity is there for sure, which means that, if a company has a solid sort of a supply chain, maybe it has the depth. And I'm pretty sure when you're obviously supplying to the forces, Pawan, you have to be very, very mindful of the fact that you have to meet all their checklists in terms of sovereignty, in terms of, all of those factors. Because, I mean, here is something which is almost, it is actually about national security. So it's a very different sort of a ball game which one is dealing with, which then brings me to this. I wanted to understand from you, which is the fact that the army alone has trained about 50,000 personnel since Operation Sindoor. Now, DroneVerse says it's trained about over 10,000. Now, what share of India's actual training effort does that represent? And where does DroneVerse's training fit alongside, let's say, the Army's own massive internal program?
Okay, so the plan is to train at least 60 to 70% of the people. So currently we have around 1.5 million people in just in army. So that is a huge number.
Sure.
And in 10,000 people we have trained 5,000, which are army plus paramilitary plus police services, all this. And not just training, what we did is we got our training center to their locations. So earlier what used to happen is they used to come to us in our 10 locations. Now last year we made more than 50 drone training nodes with them, where we give all the equipments, we handhold them with master train the trainer program. We deploy our people with them for 2-3 months, where they train them, how to be done, and then they are doing their own training. So
Sure.
that's where because they are our forces are pan India, and
Right.
leaving job and coming to us for a week, 10 days is fine, but the training is not just for a week, 10 days. You need
True.
you need to, it's just like a car, we can train them for a week to tell you exactly how it is, but as much as you fly, you will learn. And then we give them simulators also. So our simulators are different models. So every drone is different. So one is ISR, one is kamikaze, one is fiber optic spool, how to fly in night, how to fly in day, when it's raining, how to use different ammunition features. So all this is in the simulators. So we do theory, then we do simulators, and in simulators we have a strict 50 hours thing. So once you cross that 50 hours, we give them their first drone to fly. And then our drones are very rugged systems. So if it falls, if it hits the building, nothing happens.
Really happens.
And then we teach them how to repair them. So our focus is not just the drone. Our focus is on components. So the future is not the system itself, but the part which goes inside that.
Very well said.
So there'll be every month or 2 months you will see different designs, different drones coming. But motor is going to be important. Sure. Battery is going to be important. The flight controller is going to be important. The ESC is going to be important. And our strict policy is China free. So our
fair point.
Most of the
Or for that
drones.
matter, in this case, Turkey free as well, sir, because there was a clear
100%.
understanding there.
100%. Turkey free is the most important, and China free, Turkey free, and all adversaries. So building that supply chain around that is the most important part.
Pawan, tell me this very quickly. You talked about different kinds of zones, drones, etc. I want you to probably, maybe, if you can, tell us what kind of payloads are we looking at? What kind of, let's say, the technical specs that which we are looking at? It would be a great education for all of us.
Right. So we start from the smaller drone. We have a drone which is a 50,000 rupees drone. It's a DIY kit where
Okay.
any person can assemble it in 15 minutes, and you can put any payload, and it is a training platform just for someone who is the first time using a drone, because you don't want to give him a very expensive drone and
Sure.
have a problem. Then from training drone, there are ISR drones, which are surveillance drone. So surveillance drone is you have a day and night camera, which is you are doing a surveillance. Our drones can go 15 kilometers, do the surveillance, fly in a EW
Fair enough.
environment. And then we have a tethered system where a drone has a continuous power on a system, and you can do a surveillance for 8 hours without replacing a drone.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
so that's a tethered drone. Then you come with the long range VTOLs, where
Right.
which are so our drone long range VTOL is 100+ kilometers one way, and that's used specially for surveillance purpose.
Sure.
And then drones come with the you say kamikaze role,
Right.
where you need to you can put around 20-25 kgs ammunition, and it can go more than 200 kilometers. So we are working on the
Fair
kamikaze big
enough.
platform right now. Our focus is on low cost kamikaze strike drone FPV drones.
Yeah, because I think that would be the future, to be honest. No, Pawan?
Because see, 75%, more than 75, if you see Ukraine and Russia war,
Yeah.
75% of the casualty happens from FPV drones.
Right.
So
You're right.
we want to go step by step, and we are introduced a very good system which can fly in a EW environment with a tethered system. It can go up to 22 kilometers, and it can carry a payload of 3.5 kgs. So that is where our big this year we are discussing with a lot of units
Fair
for
enough.
large procurement. And then we have a surveillance drone, and then eventually, and we have a huge complete suite of anti-drone systems as well. So we make our own jammers, we make our own detection
Nice. Okay.
systems. So that is a separate. So drone is this is what we are doing right now.
And great. What a wonderful bouquet that you have right now, and it's ever expanding. Which then brings me to this thought. You just mentioned, both of us were discussing China free, Turkey free, etc. Now, we saw in Operation Sindoor, there were more than about 500 odd drones which were supplied by Turkey to Pakistan, etc. Now, that's probably, according to me, the exact reason why we need to be indigenous as far as our supply chains are concerned, right? We have to prevent that entire dependence, etc., and understanding. Now, I want to understand from you, Pawan, given today's scenario, do you feel that our supply chains are robust enough to deal with, God forbid, if there is an escalation, or will we be able to go ahead and in some way or the other, absorb whatever might come our way?
So if you talk about our company, we have 90% indigenizes with 100% technology transfer rights with a technology transfer. So based on my order supply, based on my demand, I can do 100% right now.
Okay.
So similarly, if we say right now in drones, we are not 100%. We are not making 100% of the systems in India right now. We are still dependent. However, slowly, I would say within a year, we will be able to do 100% indigenization.
Which is then very encouraging, because at least then we are all on the right path. Because
Yeah.
a year down the line, and you feel at some level or the other, we might have some sort of breakthrough technology coming, let's say a year down the line, where we might be leading the overall situation when it comes to the global landscape.
Absolutely. The, how we did it with BrahMos,
Nice.
similarly we will. Only thing is, there needs to be a lot of support to the startups
I
from the
agree.
government side.
I agree. Is it there, by
We
the way?
It is there, but there can always be room for improvement, because
For
if you
sure.
see, on the news, we are procuring 50,000 crore of drones, 20,000 crore of drones. So we need to see how much is going to the startups. So if we see, let's say 500 companies in India are making, let's say, it's not even 500, so 200, 300 companies are making. And if we give them a crore rupees order and see, so how US is procuring drones right now is they are setting a parameter.
Sure.
They are saying, okay, you bring your drone, we'll set up a parameter, you achieve that and take orders and deliver. And then based on your delivery timeline, your product performance, you'll get the next order. And then,
Which is logical.
once we give you, let's say, 1 crore rupees order, and you deliver on time, your product is good,
Sure.
your after sales is good, you don't have a financial problems or whatever. Because it's not in defense, it's not just supplying drones, it's after sales also. There is
Very important.
you need to be there for them. You can't just
Yes,
give them a
absolutely.
product, and drones going to fall, people going to crash them. So you should be always there
Yeah.
to support them.
Absolutely agree.
So that parameter needs to be evaluated,
But
checked.
okay, so you mentioned right now, as far as the United States is concerned, that's the procurement policy, which according to me stands to logic. What is the policy as far as India is concerned? And where is there, in terms of the room for improvement?
So now this year there has been a lot of improvement in terms of decision making at the command level, at the unit level. The budgets have been doubled, and people have been told, okay, you are in a different location, you have a different requirement, you go and buy yourself. We headquarters will do procurement differently, and then command's going to do differently, the battalion's going to do. So there is a lot of decentralization which is happening right
Which is a
now,
good thing.
which has already done by Indian Army or our forces.
So essentially, administratively, things have become relatively easier. The red tapeism has gone down, which then obviously encourages the startups, etc., to feel motivated enough to go ahead and take on the initiative. You know what you just mentioned, Pawan, reminded me of what Dr. Kamakoti had mentioned to me in one of the conversations that I'd had with him. He says that, he actually encourages the government and the industry at the same given point in time to give orders to a startup, because that is true motivation. Do you agree with that? Because, I mean, you just started up in 2022.
100%. So if you see data of how many startups took time to get the first order,
Yeah.
or the repeat order, there'll be a lot of improvement needs to be done. So if you see any develop I mean, once, if you don't have orders and you spend a lot of money in securing, startups are it's difficult, for a college student or someone who's leaving a job and doing a startup. So we need to give orders. So we need to have a different policy for startups, for defense, where it is clearly said, okay, you do this, you get the order, and then based on your performance, you'll get the next order.
Fair point.
And if you see, there's a large procurements going on. I mean, and then there is a lot of issues for startups, like, defense license is required, which takes a lot of time. You need to have your own factories. So arranging that finance part for startup is also a little difficult. But there is a lot of.
What? Let me go ahead and contextualize this for all our viewers with a number. $1.27 billion is roughly what the India's defense drone market is valued at. Global markets are, of course, exponentially larger. So, to expand further on what you just mentioned, Pawan, what do you think will it actually take for an Indian drone company to win contracts abroad, not just at home?
If your systems are good and you are able to supply to Indian Army with their tough criteria for clear, procurement, you will be able to sell it outside easily. There is a huge demand outside, and there is a lot of scope. We are the most cost effective, I would say, in terms of defense products right now, and there is a huge scope for exports, not just Indian defense, but also exporting these systems to our friendly nations.
Tell me this, Pawan. I mean, you obviously are very deeply, ensconced in the entire system, the entire ecosystem, as far as, the company is concerned, who are supplying drones to the Indian Army, of course, and, abroad as well, I'm pretty sure. But what is the general tonality? Is it that there is enough scope right now for us to go ahead and fulfill before the, order book here is satiated, and then we should start look outwardly? Or is it that we can do both things parallelly?
So if you see all the large defense organizations right now, their order books are full. So they have a lot of large orders. If you see big defense companies, the startups, they are still getting those orders. Getting a large order from defense takes time.
Sure.
And once that is there, I think we should eye, because India itself is a big market. We have a huge demand and requirement for all systems. Let's say drones, counter drones, and
Agreed.
UGVs. So unmanned ground vehicle, underwater drones. We are working on underwater drone with the
Nice.
Navy as well.
Nice.
So there is a huge demand for. Only thing is, the product needs to be validated, product needs to be good, and then only our defense force is going to pick. They're not going to buy anything.
I guess that would be the norm across the world also, Pawan.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as the tactical and the technical aspects are concerned, small tactical drones, as you just mentioned, you're working on underwater as well. But let me, of course, now try to draw your attention to this. So, small tactical drones have reached genuine operational maturity in India, which is the larger systems. But when it comes to the larger systems, counter-UAS at scale, which is long-range platforms, remain mostly at prototype stage industry-wide. So, as far as DroneVerse's own technology is concerned, where is it right now on that particular spectrum? Is it proven? Is it deployed?
Yep.
Or is it still being validated?
So most of our product are at TRL 9 and TRL 8, where these are ready deployed. So what we have couple of systems. We have a detection system where we can detect any drone up to 10 kilometers. We have a large AI library where we can exactly tell you that this was a DJI, this was a ORTL, this was what kind of drone it is, what frequency it is flying, what is it lat long, and where is it coming from. So we do RF detection, and then we do we have EOIR camera which can track the drone, and then in counter drones there is first is detection, second is countermeasure. In detection there is RF, there is radar, there is EOIR camera, and there is acoustic. So we have
RF is radio frequency. I'm just going ahead and elaborating on what you've just said.
So RF is radio frequency. So every drone which is flying will emit some RF.
Sure.
And then we have a system which can detect, decode it, and tell you exactly that which drone it is, because we have a large 2000 drone library within stored. So that is RF. RF is a passive system. It doesn't emit anything. So it is a safe system. Enemy will not be able to know that there is a system like that.
Got it.
Then there are radars. We have a radar as well. Then there is acoustic. We work strongly on acoustic, where we can identify a drone based on the sound. Because if you see
very interesting.
Fiber optics drones, the fiber optic drones doesn't emit anything because there is a wire attached to that, but it will always make a sound. So there is a propeller sound.
So essentially any drone will make a sound which makes acoustic detection almost
Very.
foolproof. Am I right? Am I wrong?
You are absolutely right. So there will be always a sound. There cannot be a drone which will not make a sound. And if you have couple of systems, you can triangulate. If you have a AI database library, you can tell you exactly that where is the drone, where it is flying from, and then you
Very
have
interesting.
2 3 layers of double checking it. We have a systems which can tell you it is a friendly drone or it is an enemy drone. So once you do identification, then you have to uh, countermeasure is in countermeasure. There is a soft kill and a hard kill. in
Right.
a in a soft kill, you use jammers,
Right.
you emit.
Right.
So we have all our products are IP products. We
And hard kill,
indigenize.
of course, is self-explanatory.
Hard kill is we have an interceptor drone. If you have seen, there is anti-Shahid drones
Anti-Shahid,
right now.
yes.
Lot of Ukrainian company have those
Correct.
rocket kind of drones. So we have our own interceptor drone which have been integrated with our counter drone systems. So once you identify that drone and you have a lat long from the system, the drone will automatically launch itself and go and hit the drone. So there is a kinetic hit, and then there is a ammunition also. So we have a space for
Sure.
ammunition which can go and take down the drone. So that is a complete counter drone. These systems are already deployed. Um, these systems are validated, and we are expecting large order for these systems as well. And then for a personal safety, we make jamming guns. We have a jamming and detection gun. We have a handheld detector which can tell you if there is a drone 3 kilometers
Which is
around.
then, if I'm understanding this correctly, Pawan, these handheld detectors or handheld jamming mechanisms are probably given to the soldier
Soldiers.
individually.
Yeah. So there are 2 3 ways to protect. One is the soldiers needs to be protected. So
Sure.
for soldier protection, we have a RF detector which is just like a mobile size, which
Right.
can detect. And then you have a gun which is a jamming gun. So maybe next
Okay.
time when you come to our factory, we'll show you all the
Oh, that's
products.
so kind of you. You
Yeah.
invited us. That's so sweet of
Mm,
you.
yes, and you can take down that drone. And then comes the vehicle
Nice.
mounted. So vehicle mounted does everything, but it has a larger area to protect. So
Fair enough.
so with a vehicle mounted, you can protect a 10 kilometer area, and then there is a base protection. So for a base protection,
Sure.
we can increase to 15 to 20 kilometer, and there are different layers. So a radar will work. So we have a specialized UAV radars which can detect a drone up to 20 kilometers. And after that 20 kilometers, when the radar is detected, the RF detects at 10, and then EOIR detects at 5, and then you take a decision if you want to
So
take
it's
it
a
down.
led method.
Yeah. So that's a counter UAS layer which we have.
Fascinating, Pawan. Thanks so much for that knowledge and education that you just shared with all of us. I, of course, want to kind of go ahead and then further tickle your brain on this. Military analysts have warned that future adversary drones will use better navigation and reduce dependence on GPS, making them way harder to jam or track, which we were just discussing. So basically, for all of us who's never really kind of, gone into this entire thought process, what actually makes a drone threat harder to stop as the technology starts to evolve, and is probably already evolving?
So if you see Ukraine and Russia right now,
Correct.
there is a kill zone of 30 kilometers. So that kill zone means nothing moves there. So
Sure.
anything which moves is taken down by drones. Uh,
Fair.
so 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 going forward, the war gonna be autonomous. We're not gonna be sending our people at the front
Troops.
line.
Correct.
We will have robots fighting the war, the ground vehicles. So we will need UGVs to supply equipments to them, rations or whatever at the front line, and then there'll be a drones which will be flying in that area, and anything moves will be taken down. And there is a lot of use of AI now in defense sector. So every system which gonna be there will be GPS free, autonomous, and AI. So that is, if someone is working on those lines, that's the future which I see.
You just described Terminator. James
Yeah.
Cameron would be obviously very excited about what you just went ahead and described. But when do you see it happening or coming to reality, if at all? Because it is a very dystopian reality that you just
It is
described.
not. It is not. If you read Ukraine and Russia, that is the reality.
That is true. A
The
30
last.
kilometer kill zone in Russia and Ukraine. Yeah, you're right.
So if you see the parade, the Independence Parade, which happened couple of days back in Ukraine, there was not a single person doing a military parade. It was all autonomous.
Yes.
So this was UGVs going, drones flying, and a counter drone electronic warfare shield. So it is happening right now, and the world is moving fast, and
What about
that's
India?
where
Where are we?
India, we have a very good systems. We have very large systems to take care of them at a every level that needs to be taken care. We have a very strong
Okay.
air force which can take down any target, which can protect us. We have a strong navy. We have a really large. So if you see past, we have been focusing
No,
a
I was
lot
coming
on.
from that point of view of what you just described, Pawan, as in where do we stand as India when it comes down to for something like everything being autonomous. That's where I'm coming from.
So we will be there. I mean, I wouldn't say that we are there right now 100%, and there is a lot of push and understanding at a top level, and there is a lot of support which has been done from top level. They are ready to adapt. That is a big support. So we are moving towards that. I wouldn't say
Fair enough.
there is a still, yeah.
No, but also, I mean, logically what this comes to my mind, it has to be a structured approach, Pawan. Because, I mean, not everything can be AI, let's be honest. I mean, there is a human element, there is a human reaction, there is a gut, there is experience, there is various things like that. So, I'm pretty sure that would be the way it would be nuanced.
There will always be human in the loop,
For
but
sure.
AI will do the intelligence work. So if let's say my drone is flying and I see something moving, let's say vehicle or a person, so that final decision will be taken by a person who is operating the drone right now. So it is not fully autonomous, but there'll always be a human in loop. But things you need to have a AI to understand that what is the target, which area it is. There is a library.
For sure.
So that will eventually going to be there.
But tell me this, Pawan. I mean, you just mentioned very quickly. I want your thought on this. I mean, you've mentioned the amount of AI, for example, DroneVerse itself is using right now, right? Now, there is obviously a lot of criticism. There is another faction of people who are talking about the usage of AI in war, and it is probably not the best thing because, well, AI hallucinates, AI is dependent purely on data. If the data is fractured and ruptured, then the results will be as well. So, what's your thought on that? And what are probably the safeguards? Because, I mean, this is human life we are talking about.
See, right now, the genie is out of the box. I mean,
which is true.
Yeah. So if you don't use it, someone else will use it. So,
Right.
so in terms of war, when things go bad, it is not what is, these things will not going to be there.
Yeah.
If your adversary is using, and you have
Agreed.
adversaries everywhere. So now even northeast is a sensitive area. With Bangladesh buying a lot of equipments from Turkey.
Sure.
And in Pakistan, if you see, they have a strong relationship with Turkey and
yes.
China. So maybe they don't have food to eat, but they will have equipments to fight for sure.
Which has been the case for I don't know how many decades.
Yeah. So that will be there, and we have a very strong IT base software. So going forward, these software guys, the coders, they will be required in numbers at the front line. I mean, not the front line, but supporting the front line.
Right.
Supporting our forces. Right now, industry was all, big systems, tanks, planes. Sure. Now, tanks will be there, but the person who's going to be riding the tanks will be out. So it'll be autonomous. So they will go in front. tanks will be a smaller size, not bulky, and the person who's inside will not be there in going forward. So that is the future. And if you see fighter planes also, Turkey has just shown a plane, done a demonstration where the entire fighter plane is flown without a person, having a great AI. So that's where US is working, and Europe
But
is
data is
working.
extremely still going to be very important, Pawan. Do you agree with me on that? I mean, because everything is
100%.
based on that.
100% data needs to be sovereign. Hardware is redundant. This will keep changing.
Yep.
But the brain, the AI, the everything needs to be sovereign and Indian.
Very
That's the
well
most
put,
important.
sir. This very interesting, since you and I, of course, were having a conversation about Russia, Ukraine. What Ukraine did was, because, I mean, given the paucity of the manpower availability as far as the country was concerned, they invited the gaming community to come in and because they were so good with controls, etc. And they went ahead and they started they gamified war in a big way. They handed them over. I'm sure you're aware of this. And every time they would win, etc., they would actually get points to buy better
Buy
equipment.
stuff. Absolutely. So if you see, there are people in Ukraine who has taken, done a target and have a scoreboard more than 2,000
Correct.
people. So there are and there is a leaderboard, and every unit, if you see in Ukraine, whatever target they take down, you get the
Yes.
point, and
Yes.
based on those points, you get the fund to buy your own equipments. So it is all happening right now. It is not something which is just a
Yeah,
story.
it's not just like a
We,
fantasy.
we need to learn from other people. That's the first thing we need to do.
And
We have
adapt
a
it to
very
our own environment, Pawan, I think.
Absolutely. We have a strong relationship with a lot of countries. France have been always on our side. They have a good technology. Israel has
Sure.
been on our side. We have a large industrial base. We have a manpower. We have a cost effective. So there is nothing which is stopping India to be the leader in defense sector. The defense production is increasing every month, every year. Uh, and more people should come to this sector, build those capacity. So it's not just the drone, it is those components, that financial support, all those things needs to be taken care.
What would you like to say to a lot of the engineers who are probably watching this right now, who are probably ready to start off their journey? Do you feel that there is a great opportunity when it comes down to the defense sector? Because everyone seems to have had a rule book, right, or a playbook, call it, that they go towards the IT services, or they go towards down that road, and that's been the general case for a very long time. But do you see now that that might be changing in a big way, as you mentioned?
Absolutely. So our social media is there right now. So every college student know that this industry is there. There is, and people have, I'm a Fauji kid. So
Yes.
so
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 am I, by the way, sir.
oh great. My father was in Air Force.
My
So
father was in the infantry.
so if you ask any young kid, they want to give back to the country. They want to support our forces. They
Sure.
love our forces. Uh, uh, Young people might have differences between this government and that government, but our forces are someone which
I agree.
we have 100% support. So everyone is wants to get into this field right now, and they should seriously take it. The institutes should have more R&D on defense sector. There
Is
has
it
to be
happening
more
though, Pawan?
courses. It is happening, but not at scale. How China does the things, or
Fair.
so if you see Russia right now, they have a course or a book or a proper syllabus from 8th class. So school level robotic, AI, drones, anti-drone,
Valid point.
electronic warfare. So we need to give them exposure. We when they are in 8, and you see all these kids, they want to do it. It's not like कि आप किसी को भी पूछोगे कि यार they are excited, हमें भी ड्रोन उड़ाना है, हमें भी
हाँ
सिमुलेटर
नहीं वो
करना
तो
है.
सही कह रहे हो आप. You're right.
So it this needs to change very fast. An institute which are going to be
Especially when it comes to robotics, AI, etc. Pawan, as you mentioned, institutions which are dealing specifically with that, I think there needs to be far more exposure given to the students.
absolutely, absolutely. There has to be lot needs to be done on the education side. So once you have that education side ready, industry is going to be there. So either they're most welcome in our company or any other company which
Wonderful.
is doing, and then they get that exposure. They want to make something. It's a ocean. So defense is going to keep changing, evolving, and you have everything here in India to support that. So uh, we are also partnered with the Nagaland government, like Northeast. If you see
Wonderful.
Northeast people are very educated. They
Yes,
speak good English. They like video games.
true.
And we have partnered with the Nagaland government where we are training the entire Northeast youth to get involved in drones. So doing
Fair
survey,
enough.
agriculture, support our defense forces. So yeah.
Giving back to the nation in a big way. You're talking about agriculture and defense, sir. Both things at the end of the day are building the nation. And of course, if you're tied up with the Nagaland government and they love playing, not the government, but I mean the people generally in the Northeast like playing video games. Let me also introduce you to Antara Gupta, who's my co-anchor. She loves playing video games. So she might be a wonderful little asset which can contribute. I don't know. I'm just thinking aloud. But anyway, moving forward, as far as the overall landscape is concerned, how do you see it changing, let's say, 2 years down the line? What are the significant changes that you would probably see which puts us ahead in the race? Because till now, we have been reactive as we started, Pawan, as a nation. But what will make us proactive, according to you?
No, I think we are now, the government, the forces, the financial markets, they are very serious about defense sector.
Okay.
We are getting a lot of financial institute is in the end going to be the bigger contributor to help startups grow and get. And currently we are exporting to 110 countries.
That's
So
wonderful.
and most important point I want to add here is that we have 900 components and defense companies in India which are exporting critical components outside,
Yes.
but we are not working with each other.
By the
So
way, there was this recent list announced by the government, Pawan, the sixth list, where we were talking about indigenization of something
indigenizing.
like 3,025 components. Correct me if I'm wrong. This
Yeah,
was
yeah.
from the Russian tanks, which was the T-90, which we
Me.
bought,
Yeah,
etc.,
yeah,
etc. They're
yeah,
not
yeah.
changing the designs, but they're changing the underlying mechanism on which it's working.
Yeah. So it's not just, it's thousands of equipments. I mean, Navy
Correct,
has its
correct.
own list, Air Force has its own list, and component level, there are only thing is for startups or tier one, tier two, tier three cities, there is a lot of challenge uh, to crack the defense industry, and now there is a lot of effort which have been happening to ease that. There are trials. The companies have to do a lot of trials pan India. There is a lot of cost involved in
True.
that. So now they are setting up fixed locations for trials, fixed units for trials. The reports can be used anywhere. So there is a lot of movement happening from the industry bodies like SIDM, FICCI, Drone Federation of India. So they are trying their best, and now it's not everyone knows about drones. So
Fair
drones is
enough.
something which is so the momentum is right. We have to just keep going the momentum. Government is very supportive where they are giving a lot of subsidies, land, defense. There are defense
Which is a good thing.
corridors. Yeah, that's a good thing. So
What would you like to say very quickly in conclusion? What would you like to say, Pawan, to a lot of probably the funding institutions, or for that matter, the VCs, etc.? Because this is a sector where I believe they are a lot more inclined towards, but the moment it gets into very deep research, there I believe patient capital is required. So do you feel
Yeah.
that that area needs probably special attention, or for them to kind of, go ahead and contribute a lot more?
Absolutely. So there has to be a lot of support from this financial institute. Uh, Orders doesn't come in months. It
I
might takes,
agree.
and then these orders going to be large orders. So you need to play your bet on a right founders, right team, and support them. So yeah, I think financial institute usually works on how to double your money, or
Right.
very quickly. But defense is a long game, and it takes a lot of capital, and support needs to be done. So that's
Fair point. Pawan, it's been a true honor having a conversation with you, and in your own wonderful way, you are, contributing as far as the overall growth of the country is concerned, guarding the borders maybe in a big way. And I really hope that you continue your wonderful work, especially also in terms of your contribution moving forward as far as the agriculture sector is concerned, because I believe nobody seems to be going ahead and paying too much heed to that, which requires a lot. Well, thank you so much for being on front page. And as the developments go by, we would love to invite you again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, and pleasure talking to you. And we would
Pleasure.
invite you to our factory
That's so
to
kind
meet our
of you.
team, and see our products, and hope to see you soon.
Wonderful. I'll take you up on that invitation. We'll all come across as the front page team to visit your plant. It will be beautiful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Fair
Jai
enough.
Hind.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I couldn't have summed it up better than what Pawan already did. So please do let us know what are your thoughts in the comments below. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Front Page by the AIM Network. Like, share, subscribe, and always remember, think AI, think AIM.